An experienced POTA operator suddenly disappears. So why are people still tracking his signal? And that's not even the real mystery.
You're listening to Ham Radio Stories, where every signal hides a secret.
Some missing person searches begin with a scream. This one began with a packet. A single APRS beacon from a young POTA activator named Caleb Mercer, KD2CXM. Latitude, longitude, altitude, timestamp. Nothing unusual, except Caleb was already missing. His pack was still at camp. His radio was still on the table. His best friend was standing beside the fire ring, yelling his name into the trees. But Caleb's beacon kept moving. Not fast, not far, just enough. Every few minutes the dot crept across the map, away from camp, away from the trail, and up toward a ridge where nobody had seen him go. Search teams followed it for 6 hours. Then the satellite heard him. And that was when the search stopped making sense. Caleb Mercer had activated 112 POTA locations before he vanished. POTA stands for Parks on the Air, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Amateur radio operators take portable stations into parks, forests, historic sites, and public lands, then make contacts from the field. Some people do it casually. Caleb did not. He logged everything. Band conditions, antenna height, battery voltage, weather, number of contacts, best signal report, worst signal report, lessons learned. His friends joked that Caleb could turn a picnic table into a contest station and a sandwich wrapper into a radial field if you gave him 10 minutes and a roll of wire. He was 26, newly licensed for 3 years, and already known in the local POTA crowd as the guy who could hike 6 miles, throw a wire into a tree, make 40 contacts on 20 meters, and still remember to pack out someone else's trash. He was not careless. That mattered later. On the last Saturday in April, Caleb and his friend Aaron Pike drove into Hollow Ridge State Forest for a 2-park activation. Caleb brought an Elecraft KX2, a 50 watt-hour battery pack, an end-fed half-wave, a telescoping mast, a handheld, and a small APRS tracker clipped to the shoulder strap of his pack. Aaron brought a Yaesu FT891, a heavier battery, 3 different coax jumpers, and the confidence of a man who believed every problem could be solved by bringing more gear than necessary. They reached the primitive campsite at 3:40 in the afternoon. The site sat beside an old fire road about 2 miles from the nearest paved access point. West of camp, the land dropped toward Laurel Creek. East of camp, the ridge climbed through pine, rock, and old logging cuts that no longer appeared on current maps. They set up before sunset. Caleb worked 20 meters first. Germany, Arizona, Ontario, Texas. Then a park-to-park with a station in Tennessee that gave him a 5-5 and asked if the wind was as bad there as it sounded. It was. By 6:20, Caleb had 29 contacts in the log. Enough for the activation. He could have packed up then. Instead, he switched to 40 meters. Aaron later said that was the last ordinary thing Caleb did. At 6:47, Caleb told Aaron he was stepping away from camp for a minute. He left his KX2 on the table. He left the antenna up. He left his water bottle beside the logbook. He did take his handheld. He also took the small APRS tracker clipped to his shoulder strap. Aaron noticed because the green light blinked as Caleb walked into the trees. One blink every few seconds. Still alive, still sending. Caleb walked east toward the ridge. Aaron called after him not to go too far. Caleb gave him the kind of wave that means, "Yes, I heard you," and also, "No, I am not changing anything." Then the trees closed behind him. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Aaron was not worried. Yet. At 12 minutes, Caleb's APRS beacon appeared on Aaron's tablet. Still east of camp, moving slowly. At 15 minutes, Aaron called on the handheld. Caleb did not answer. At 17 minutes, the radio on the table made a sound Aaron had never heard from it before. Not static, not voice. A hard digital buzz, short and sharp, like a packet burst played through a broken speaker. Then came a flash through the trees, white, low, fast. Aaron later said it did not look like lightning. It looked like someone had opened a door in the woods and closed it again. He stood up. He called Caleb's name. No answer. Then Caleb's APRS beacon moved again. Farther east, up the ridge, Aaron grabbed his handheld and ran. The trail ended after 30 yards. The old logging cut continued, but only if you already knew it was there. The forest had grown over it in layers. Pine needles, ferns, deadfall, greenbrier. Aaron followed the direction of Caleb's last beacon until the tablet lost data. Then he called again. "Caleb, this is Aaron. Come back." Nothing. He tried simplex on 146.520. Nothing. He tried the local repeater. No response from Caleb, but the repeater came back full quieting. That meant Aaron could call for help. At 7:18, Aaron reached June Sato on the Carter County repeater. He said Caleb was missing. He said there had been a flash. He said Caleb's APRS tracker was still moving. June was in her truck when the call came in. She knew Caleb. Most of the local POTA crowd did. She also knew Hollow Ridge. It was not a large forest, but it was an easy place to get turned around. The ridge was cut with old logging roads, sinkholes, drainage cuts, and abandoned utility paths from a forestry relay site that had been shut down in the late 90s. June told Aaron to stop moving. That was the first rule. When the person you are searching for is missing, do not become the second one. Aaron did not like it, but he obeyed. June called the sheriff. Then she called Hank DeVries. Then she opened a small search net on the repeater and asked for any operator with APRS capability to monitor KD2CXM. People keep calling Ham Radio Wayback a newsletter. They're not wrong. They're just not telling the whole story. Every Friday you'll discover fascinating stories from amateur radio history, see the latest FCC licensing trends, and get access to the Ham Radio Blue Book, helping buyers and sellers understand what equipment is really worth. So is it a newsletter, a market report, a buyer's guide? Honestly, it's a little of all three. Visit hamradiowayback.com. Learn something new. Follow the hobby. Price your gear with confidence. Caleb's tracker reported again at 7:26. The position was northeast of camp, then again at 7:34, farther northeast, then 7:41. Still moving. The problem was speed. Not too fast, too steady. A lost person stumbles, stops, circles, backtracks, climbs around obstacles, pauses to think. Caleb's beacon moved like it was following a line, not a trail, a line. At 8:03, the beacon reached the upper ridge. At 8:11, it jumped half a mile. That should not have happened. June saw it on her screen and immediately distrusted it. A PRS is useful, but it is not magic. A tracker sends position packets. Those packets may be received by digipeaters, internet gateways, or sometimes satellites. Under tree cover, GPS can drift. Packets can be delayed. A bad position can look convincing if you want it badly enough. And everyone wanted Caleb's dot to be Caleb. By 9 o'clock, search and rescue had arrived. Aaron was brought out to the road. He kept saying the same thing. The beacon moved after Caleb vanished. June did not argue with him. She just wrote it down. At 9:18, a packet from Caleb's tracker was heard by a passing amateur satellite. The packet relayed through the network and appeared online several minutes later. The position placed Caleb on the far side of Hollow Ridge, nearly 2 miles from camp. Impossible on foot in that terrain, in that time, in the dark. But there it was, a dot, a call sign, a timestamp, KD2CXM. People believe dots on maps because dots on maps look certain. June had learned not to. She asked Hank to pull the raw packet path. Not the map, the path. The packet had not gone directly from Caleb's tracker to a local gateway. It had been repeated. First by a temporary APRS digipeater on the ridge, then by a satellite pass, then through an internet gateway outside the county. The position might be real. The timing might not be. The map was not lying, but it was not telling the whole truth either. By midnight, the search had split in two. The sheriff's team followed the moving APRS positions. June and Hank followed the radio. That was not the same thing. June returned to the campsite and tuned Caleb's handheld frequency. Nothing. Then she tuned lower, then higher. At 144.390, the national APRS frequency, she heard the tracker again. Weak. Not from the ridge. From below. Hank raised an eyebrow, which for Hank was a flare gun. June took a bearing with a small Yagi. The signal was not coming from the direction of the latest map position. It was coming from the old forestry relay site. South of camp, downhill, the opposite direction. They took a second bearing from the fire road. Same result. A third from the creek crossing. The lines crossed at the relay site. The old site had been abandoned for 25 years. Most people forgot it existed. Caleb had not gone there. At least, not according to the map. But radio does not care what the map says. Radio cares where the signal is. June and Hank followed the bearings. The relay site was not much to look at. A rusted chain-link fence, a concrete pad, 2 utility poles, a metal cabinet the size of a refrigerator, tilted slightly on its base. The solar panel above it had cracked years earlier. One corner hung loose, tapping in the wind. Inside the cabinet, something was still alive. Not much, just enough. A corroded charge controller, a swollen battery, an old low-power data transmitter once used by the Forestry Service, and Caleb's APRS tracker. It was hanging from a broken branch caught against the cabinet door. The shoulder clip was torn. The strap was missing. June stared at it. That explained the moving beacon. Not all of it, but enough. The tracker had been ripped from Caleb's pack and carried uphill by something. A branch caught in runoff. An animal. A searcher who brushed past it without noticing. Then the old relay site did the rest. The failing charge controller arced in the damp air. That was the flash Aaron saw through the trees. The old data transmitter, or a damaged cable near the cabinet, had produced the burst of RF noise. And Caleb's tracker, sitting near metal, bad wiring, and a half-dead power system, had sent ugly packets with occasional bad GPS fixes. Some packets were delayed, some were repeated, some were wrong. On a map, wrong can still move. But Caleb was not there. June keyed the repeater and told the search team the tracker had been found. The voice on the other end asked the question nobody wanted to ask. If the tracker was here, where was Caleb? Hank was already looking. He found the answer 20 yards downslope. A drainage cut ran behind the relay cabinet, hidden by ferns and storm debris. The top edge had collapsed recently, leaving a dark opening under the root mat. Hank called Caleb's name. At first nothing. Then a sound. Not a word. A scrape. June dropped to her knees and aimed her flashlight into the cut. Caleb was 8 feet down, wedged against a rock shelf, muddy, pale, and alive. His handheld was beside him. The antenna was broken. The battery was nearly dead. He had fallen through the edge of the drainage cut after stepping away from camp. The fall knocked him out. When he woke, he tried to climb, but the bank gave way under his hands. He could hear the searchers at times, but not loudly enough to make them hear him. His tracker had been torn from his pack during the fall. The search had been chasing the part of him that got away. Rescue pulled him out at 2:43 in the morning. He had a concussion, 2 cracked ribs, and a dislocated shoulder. He also had one question. Why did everyone go the wrong way? Nobody answered right away. Not because they did not know. Because explaining that his own beacon had led them away from him felt cruel while he was still strapped to a litter. Caleb recovered. Slowly. He stopped activating parks for 3 months, then 6. People in the local POTA group gave him space, which in ham radio means they asked about him constantly, but only through other people. In August, Caleb came to a club meeting. He looked thinner, quieter, still Caleb, but with something held back. June gave a short technical presentation that night. The title was When the Dot Is Not the Person. She explained APRS delay, bad GPS fixes, digipeater paths, satellite relays, why raw packets matter, why bearings matter more when the map gets strange. She never used Caleb's name. She did not need to. Everyone knew. After the meeting, Caleb handed June a small audio recorder. He said it had been clipped inside his jacket during the activation. He had forgotten it was on. The battery had died after 20 minutes. He did not want to listen to it alone. So June, Hank, Aaron, and Caleb sat in the empty club room and played the file. Most of it was ordinary. Wind, footsteps. Caleb humming badly. Aaron calling after him not to go too far. Then Caleb laughing and saying he would be right back. Then silence. Then a sharp digital buzz. Then Caleb saying one word. Wait. The flash came next. The recorder overloaded for half a second. After that came breathing, fast, close to the microphone. Then Caleb's voice, lower than before, confused. He said, "That's not my signal." Nobody moved. On the recording, something clicked. Not a branch, not the recorder, a clean mechanical click. Then Caleb whispered one more sentence. "I thought you were with me." The fall happened immediately after. A crash. A grunt. Static against fabric. Then nothing but weak breathing until the battery died. They played it once. Only once. Aaron said he had not been with Caleb. June said she knew. Hank asked Caleb what he remembered. Caleb looked at the recorder for a long time. Then he said he remembered the flash. He remembered hearing a packet burst. He remembered thinking his tracker had answered something. After that, nothing clear. Just a feeling that someone was walking beside him. Not behind him, beside him. June asked if he wanted to file it with the sheriff's report. Caleb said no. The report already had the answer. He fell. The tracker separated. The beacon moved. The search followed the wrong signal. The radio bearings found the right one. That was the truth. At least it was the part of the truth that fit on paper. Caleb returned to POTA in October. Hollow Ridge was his first activation. People told him he did not have to go back there. He said he knew. He went anyway. This time he brought 2 radios, a personal locator beacon, a better tracker, and a bright orange lanyard tying the tracker to his pack. Aaron came with him. So did June. They set up at the same campsite. Caleb made 10 contacts on 40 meters. Then 20. Then a park to park in Ohio. At sunset, he packed the station carefully. Before they left, he stood at the edge of the trees where he had disappeared and listened. No buzz, no flash, no packet burst. Just wind in the pines. Aaron asked if he was okay. Caleb said yes. Then his new APRS tracker beaconed. 1 clean packet, 1 good position, 1 dot exactly where it belonged. June checked the raw path. Direct to the local digipeater. No satellite. No delay. No ghosts in the network. She smiled and put the tablet away. Then Hank's handheld chirped. Not APRS, not the repeater. A short burst on 144.390. Too weak to decode, too brief to locate. Just enough to make every operator there look toward the old relay site. Caleb did not move. After a moment, he said it was probably nothing. June said probably. Hank said nothing. That was how everyone knew he disagreed. They walked out together before dark. No one followed the signal. Not that time. Some mysteries get solved, some get logged, and some are left alone because the person who heard them has already been found, and that is enough.
This has been Ham Radio Stories, original radio mysteries inspired by the world of amateur radio. Until next time, keep the volume up and listen just above the noise.